You're welcome. Thank you.
Happy Sabbath. So today we are going to learn about the health nugget. It's going to be pretty quick. So I want to share from the book of Exodus chapter 15, verse 26. It says, "And it said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, will give ear to his commandments, and will keep his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord that healeth thee." So we are being admonished that we should stick to the God's commandments. So today we are going to learn about the ulcers, the peptic ulcers. So the peptic ulcers, there's a research which is being done by the Harvard University. We can see that 15% of the US population have ulcers, but only about a half are diagnosed. Some are not discovered until the person begins to vomiting blood. So the duodenal ulcers usually appears between the ages of 30 and 50 and are more common in men than in women. And we also have stomach ulcers, tend to occur later in life after an age of 60 or affect women or more often than men. So the ulcers, what are now the causes of ulcers? Ulcers can be caused by the use of non-steroidal drugs, the NSAIDs. An example is like aspirin, like ibuprofen. So when you take these drugs, they can trigger bleeding in your stomach, and so you can be at risk of contracting ulcers. So these drugs, it has explained there that they decrease the production of mucus and they increase the production of acid, so thereby enabling the stomach juices and thus to damage the cells. So these ulcers can also be caused by wrong foods or too much food, just overeating. They can also be induced by severe mental stress. So stress is also a factor. The ibuprofen, the aspirin, those are the things which can also cause ulcers. And also we have the H. pylori bacteria. So this can also cause the ulcers. Now, what are the signs and symptoms? So chronic burning or gnawing of the stomach pain, which is often 45 to 60 minutes after finishing a meal or at night. And it usually comes in waves. It comes and goes in waves. So you can feel the heartburn, nose feeling, the vomiting, loss of appetite. Now, listen. If you vomit the blood and have like a coffee-like black stool, then the ulcer is bleeding. So you are in danger of bleeding, and at that point, I would ask that you go to the hospital immediately because you can be anemic. So now, what is the treatment? Remember, when we are talking about the treatment, this is just troubling. Maybe, it can be one of us here, it can be someone else. So by learning the treatment, and we are going to learn the non-pharmacological, that's the natural remedies. So you drink, for example, when you are feeling pain, the rapid pain, drink a large glass of water. It dilutes the stomach acid and flushes them out. Number 2, avoid the situations which are including tension, stress, irritability, the nervous strain, and complete relaxation from the problems of worry. So we can be angry, we can have stress in life, but try to avoid such situations which can bring you calm, because if this ulcer actually is not controlled, it can be very, very, very harmful to you. You know. Yeah, another thing, it's do not eat fried foods, junk foods, all these McDonald's stuffs. So don't drink caffeine, because it does that potentiality to, to bring acidity in your stomach. Also meat. How many hours does meat stay in your stomach? How many days? Yeah, so like meat, it does it stays a lot of time in your stomach, and it triggers more acid. To digest it needs more acid. So before we talk about now the natural treatment, first of all, you must be willing to avoid something which made you sick. You know, in the disease, in medical missionary, you treat from cause to effect. You cannot be just drink the juice therapy, which we are going to talk in a little bit, but then you're taking meat, you're taking, some other things which makes you sick. So you must be willing to take off something which made you sick in the first place before you proceed to treatment. And our diet, high rich in sugar, increases the HCl production. So white bread also causes more HCl to be made. It's now known, before people used to use milk. Yes, milk used to bring some relief a little bit, but now milk has calcium. So calcium, it triggers the stomach to produce gastrin. At the end of the day, it produces the acid. So I would also say avoid cow milk, which has a lot of calcium. So you should be willing to avoid all these stuffs. And now I want us to talk about also eat a blend of dark green leafy vegetables. If the symptoms are severe, eat soft foods, potatoes, squash, bananas. Yeah, there are so many things there you can eat. So also remember exercise, it reduces the stress. Do not take antacids or painkillers such as aspirin. Yeah, that only increases the problem. And also we talk about the calcium carbonate. Now this is where we are going to learn now the protocol juice. How can you now to prevent this one? So remember the 3 C's, the cabbage, celery, carrots. You can also add like a cucumber. You can also add the basic, go and try to look for the alkaline fruits. So I want us to watch a video. Now this video, it explains how you are going to make the protocol juice, and it will give us the procedure. Maybe after COVID, we can look for ways in which we can simulate. We can do it practically so that people can see how to do it. But for now, we can watch a video. Go to the next slide, please. Yeah, let us watch that video, how this man prepares the protocol juice. And yeah, there you go. Some volume.
It's something that's imbued in my mind. This head of cabbage, I never thought even for a moment that I'd make juice out of it. But while I worked at Stanford University with Dr. Garnett Chaney, he cured every single prisoner of stomach ulcers by making one thing: cabbage juice, freshly made cabbage juice. Because there's a substance in fresh cabbages that's called acid glutamine, glutamic acid, that heals a stomach ulcer. Garnett Chaney went in there and cured every single stomach ulcer patient with freshly made cabbage juice. And I asked him, do you use green or red cabbage? He says, by all means, green cabbage. That's what we used. And we cured every single stomach ulcer patient. Some of them took a little longer, maybe up to a couple of weeks, but most stomach ulcer patients that were there that we fed the freshly made cabbage juice, within 2 to 3 days, they never had another pain. So here we are. I'm going to make you some cabbage juice now. Also take, if you want to, when you do cabbages, you can take 1 leaf at a time. That's what I used to do years ago. Take 1 leaf at a time and then fold it up like this and run it through the opening of the juicer. But I like to do this, show you. Cabbage is one of the greatest alkaline foods in the world, you see, and for somebody with a stomach ulcer, I don't care if it's peptic or duodenal, whatever, one of the greatest drinks of the world to heal a stomach ulcer, and that's all documented. Now, we found out for some of the prisoners there on the island, Alcatraz Island, that couldn't take straight cabbage juice because of the acid glutamine, we mix what we call the 3 C's together to make it palatable: cabbage, carrot, and celery. And that made it very palatable and was easy to handle. They would never have any upchuck feeling or gastritis or anything from it, you see, or pain. One of the things about this juicer is it's tough and it's versatile. That's a celery. You know how hard it is to get juice out of cabbage? Well, we do a marvelous job because we shred very finely. The pieces of fiber that eject out the back end are like transparent pieces of lint. This is one of the powerhouse drinks of all time. But you can embellish it with a cucumber if you want to. You can put broccoli in it, you know, Brussels sprouts, little baby cabbages. So I'm going to make this and toast you now to your health.
So friends, this thing works. This thing works. If it can help you, you can help a friend. Thank you so much. The only encouragement I can give you is God fixes no limit to the advancement His children can make. If they will but surrender their lives to His guidance, study and obey the inspired. Another book section I can recommend you, go and read the books of Ellen White, the Counsels to Diet and Foods, the Minister of Healing. They're a very good resource. Thanks so much, and may God bless you.